Welcome to our new program today. We're going to unlock some of the biggest secrets to understanding and, really speaking with a natural American accent. If you've ever felt like native speakers talk way too fast, then this explainer is definitely for you. So, let me ask you this. Have you ever been in a conversation or maybe just watching a movie and you feel like the English speakers are just talking a mile a minute? It can be so hard to keep up, right? But what if I told you the problem isn't really about how fast they're talking? The real reason it can be so tough to catch every single word is actually a totally different, kind of hidden thing that happens in speech. And that hidden thing is called connected speech. So what on earth does that mean? Well, it's what happens when the sounds of individual words start to blend together in a sentence. This actually changes how the words themselves are pronounced. And trust me, this is the key that is going to totally change the way you hear and speak English. Okay, here's a perfect first example. In a textbook, you learn to write want to, but in a real, natural conversation, you're almost always going to hear it pronounced as wanna. The two words just kind of melt into one. So instead of hearing a really robotic want to grab dinner, you're going to hear something like this. Want to grab some dinner after work today? See, it's so much smoother, it's faster, and honestly, it's just how people actually talk. Let's look at another one I know you've heard a million times. Written down, it's going to. But when we speak, it almost always becomes gonna. This is probably one of the most common shortcuts in American English. You might hear a friend say something casual like, I'm gonna go to the store in a bit. Need anything? Hear how that flows? Once you start listening for these connections, I promise you'll start hearing them absolutely everywhere. All right, so now that we get the basic idea of connected speech, let's really get into the nitty-gritty of the sounds themselves. Mastering these key changes will make all the difference. You're listening to Mastering Flawless English. Okay, so the letter T, it's a bit of a shapeshifter in American English. Seriously, depending on where it shows up in a word or a sentence, it can change to a D sound, it can get stopped by your tongue, or it can even disappear completely. Let's break down all three. So first up, we've got the T that sounds like a D. This happens whenever a T is kind of trapped between two vowel sounds. So the word city sounds a lot more like city, and water sounds like waiter. This one is so common. Once you start listening for it, you'll hear it constantly. Next is the stopped T. This usually happens at the end of a word. Listen closely to this sentence. I thought about it. Did you notice the T in thought and in it? I'm not releasing a puff of air. My tongue goes to the roof of my mouth like it's going to make the T sound, but it just stops there. Thought. It. No air escapes. It's a really subtle one. And finally, we have the glottal T, which is maybe the most surprising one. This is where the T sound basically vanishes, especially when it comes after the letter N. So a word like sentence becomes sentence, and important sounds like important. And get this, back in the 1800s, this was actually considered a lazy habit, but today, it's a completely standard part of natural American speech. All right, let's switch gears and move on to the American R, which is easily one of the most defining sounds of the whole accent. We're going to cover that colored R sound in the middle of words, the strong at the end, and why words ending in "-ary", like library, don't get shortened. First, we have what's called the colored R. Just listen to this sentence. The first word that you learned is the one you heard the most. You hear that? In first, word, heard, and learned, they all have that same deep sound. It almost sounds like an angry dog growling. That's the colored R, and it's a really powerful sound. Now, the American accent also keeps that R sound really strong at the end of words that end in R. Unlike some other English accents, we don't drop it. You can hear it so clearly in remember to water the flowers. Remember, water, flowers. And that same rule applies to the full airy ending in words like secretary or military. That R sound is always there, loud and clear. Okay, so we've covered how individual sounds can change. Now let's talk about the final piece of the puzzle, linking your words together to create that super smooth, seamless flow of speech. So here's a crucial little trick. When a word ends with an S sound and the very next word starts with a vowel, we often link them by changing that S sound into a Z sound. It just makes the whole thing flow so much better. A perfect example of this is the classic greeting, "How's it going?" We don't say, "How's it?" with a hard stop in between. We link them. The S in house blends with the it in it, and it becomes a Z sound. How's it going? It's such a small change, but wow, it makes a huge difference in sounding natural. So, why does all this matter? What's the big payoff here? Well, there are two huge ones. First, once you start to recognize these patterns, you're going to find it so much easier to understand native speakers. All that fast speech will suddenly start to click and make sense. And second, when you start using these little tricks yourself, your own speaking is just going to sound way more natural and fluent. And that just about brings us to the end. So my question for you is, which of these sounds, the wanna, the stop T, that colored R, which one are you going to start listening for in conversations today? Because actively listening for it is always the first step to mastering it yourself. If you found this helpful, please do us a favor and subscribe, like, and share this. When you do that, you're telling YouTube that this is good stuff, and it helps the algorithm show it to a much larger audience of learners just like you. Thanks for tuning in.
Today, we're tackling a big one. It's something that trips up almost everyone learning English.
Oh, yeah. What's that?
Understanding fast, fluent American speech,
Yeah.
and, maybe even more, being able to replicate it.
Ah, yes. The speed gap. You can read perfectly, maybe write really well,
Right.
but then you hear native speakers just, well, rattling away, and it sounds like a blur, like the words you learned just vanish.
Exactly. It's like this high-speed murmur. So our mission today is basically to crack that code.
We want to unpack the secrets, the linguistic shortcuts that let Americans blend and shift sounds without even thinking about it. It's all about getting your listening comprehension sharp and helping your speaking fluency, too.
It really is a shortcut, isn't it? This
Yeah.
isn't just about learning more words. It's about the mechanics of how sound works in real American conversation.
hmm And the absolute key concept, the foundation for all of this, is something called connected speech.
Okay, connected speech. What exactly is that?
Well, it sounds simple, but it's tricky to really master. It just means that the pronunciation of a word often changes, sometimes quite a bit, just because of the words next to it in a sentence.
So not how it sounds in the dictionary.
Not at all, usually. Your mouth, your tongue, they're always looking for the easiest path, the quickest way, so sounds blend together.
Okay, give me an example.
All right, take the word don't and the word you. Set alone, they're clear. Don't. You.
Right.
But if a native speaker says, "Don't you want to go?" Well, those two words basically merge. They become one sound.
Oh, okay. It's not don't, then you. It's more like don't ya.
Exactly, don't ya. And if you, the listener, are waiting to hear a don't followed clearly by you, you'll miss it every time. American English relies so much on these kinds of shortcuts.
So recognizing these and maybe even using them is kind of the mark of real fluency.
It absolutely is. It turns that confusing murmur back into understandable information.
Got it. Okay, so how are we tackling this today? What's the plan?
We've broken it down into three main parts. First, we'll hit 17 really common, absolutely essential connected speech phrases. Think of them as the building blocks.
Okay, 17 key phrases.
Then second, we'll dig into 8, let's call them pronunciation secrets of the standard American accent. We'll focus a lot on how Americans mess with the letter T.
Ah, the infamous American T.
You got it. And finally, we'll cover 4 American idioms that are just crucial for sounding natural and understanding everyday chat.
Building blocks, pronunciation secrets, and cultural fluency with idioms. Sounds like a solid plan. Let's dive in. All right, section 1, these 17 phrases. Why these specific ones? Are they just the most common?
They are incredibly common, yes, but it's more than that. Mastering these specific lengths does 2 things. It helps you understand natives better, obviously, but it also starts training your ear and your mouth for how words link up in general.
So it's like practice for the bigger pattern.
Exactly. It helps you anticipate the connections, and that ability to replicate them quickly is what really unlocks speaking fluency. Think of it like muscle memory drills for your mouth.
Okay, muscle memory. I like that.
Yeah,
So you're training yourself to accept that conversation doesn't sound like the dictionary.
precisely. So let's get into them. We'll give the original phrase, the connected sound, and then use it in a quick example.
Sounds good. Where do we start?
Let's start with a really famous trio. Everyone knows these, or should. Want to, got to, and going to.
Ah, okay. So, want to becomes.
Wanna. Like, wanna grab some dinner after work today?
Right. You almost never hear want to clearly said in casual speech.
Almost never. Same with gotta. It becomes gotta.
I really got to run or I'll be late for my workout class.
Perfect. Yeah, if you say got to very clearly, it sounds a bit stiff or like you're really emphasizing something. Gotta is the default.
And the last one of that group, going to. That's always gonna, right?
Pretty much always in conversation. I'm going to go to the store in a bit, need anything. If you want to sound natural talking about the future, gonna is your friend.
Okay, wanna, gotta, gonna, got it.
What's next? Let's look at two that show a really interesting sound change. It happens when a T is followed by a Y sound. Don't you and won't you.
Okay, T followed by Y. What happens?
The T and the Y sounds blend together. They kind of fuse to make a chi sound. It's called palatalization, if you want the technical term.
Okay, so don't you becomes.
Don't-cha. Remember our earlier example, don't you wish we had more time in the day?
Right, don't ya. And won't you. Same thing.
Yep, same process becomes won't-cha. Like if you're offering someone a drink, won't you stay for a cup of tea?
Don't ya, won't ya. That G sound is key. That's a big clue for listening.
Huge clue. Okay, another really important one involves the verb have. Have to.
This one's interesting. It becomes hafta, right? With an F sound. Why?
It's a great example of how the next sound changes the current sound.
Mm.
The V in have is voiced you feel your throat vibrate.
Right. VVV.
But the T into is voiceless, just air, to.
Okay.
Because your mouth is already getting ready for that voiceless T, it's easier to make the sound before it voiceless too. The voiceless version of V is F.
F-pith.
So the V devoices becomes an F hafta.
Wow.
Okay.
Okay. So it's not just lazy. It's physically easier to say hafta than hafto quickly.
Exactly. It's efficiency. So you hear, you didn't have to pick me up. I could have cabbed it.
Hafta. Got it. Devoicing. That's cool.
Now let's tackle the conditionals. These can be really tough for learners because the have part almost disappears. We call them the regrettables. Would have, should
like
have,
an
and could have.
American.
Oh, yeah. These ones, they
Piece
just sound like
of
woulda,
cake.
shoulda, coulda. Great. The
Break
have just
the
vanished.
ice.
Why?
Well, the H sound in English is already pretty weak, and when
Yeah.
you contract have to have, that sound gets even weaker, especially after consonants like D or L.
Okay.
So the have reduces down to basically the smallest vowel sound possible, the schwa, like an and it just blends right in. Woulda, shoulda, coulda.
Woulda. Coulda. Let's do the examples. Would have is woulda.
I would have made more banana muffins if I'd known you were coming.
Makes sense. Shoulda is shoulda.
I really should have spent more time prepping for my interview. Regret.
Definitely regret.
Mhm.
And coulda's coulda.
We could have gone camping this weekend. The foliage is amazing right now. Missed opportunity.
Right. Hearing them as woulda, shoulda, coulda is key. You can't listen for half.
You really can't. Okay, moving on. Let's look at questions with you. There are quite a few variations here.
Okay.
Starting simple.
Let's start simple. Can you? This often softens to can ya.
Can you help with Thanksgiving prep this afternoon? The you just gets relaxed.
Yep. Same with do you. It becomes do ya.
Do you take milk and sugar in your coffee or just drink it black?
Easy enough. Now let's bring back that sound change we saw in don't ya. The D plus Y sound.
Okay, D plus Y, like in would you?
Exactly. Would you contracts to would ya. That D and Y merge into a J sound.
Would you mind turning the music down? It's a bit loud. Would you?
And it gets even stronger when did is involved.
Okay.
Did you?
Oh yeah, this one gets really squished. What
Yeah.
happens here?
It contracts hard. You might hear did ya, or sometimes even just Joe.
Jew, like the letter J.
Kinda, yeah. Like, did you say something, or are my ears playing tricks on me? Or even faster. Jew, say something.
Wow, Jew sounds nothing like did you. No wonder that's confusing.
It's a massive source of confusion, and it gets even more condensed when you add a question word like what or how.
Okay, like what is you?
That becomes waja. Again, the D plus Y makes a J sound, and the T in what flaps to a D sound before it.
Waja due to your hair. It's different in a good way. Waja.
Yeah, how did you? Same pattern.
Basically, yeah, it becomes howja.
How'd you lift the couch all by yourself? You're insanely strong. How'd ya?
Waja, howja, did you? That D plus Y to J sound is everywhere.
It really is. One more simple one. Will you? That just softens to will ya.
Will you subscribe to our YouTube channel, please?
Ah, nice plug. But yeah, will ya? So if you look at waja, howja, didja, they show something called coalescence sounds merging completely into a new sound. Did plus you becoming Jew is a huge change.
And native speakers do this constantly without thinking.
Every day, multiple times. So practicing these 17, really getting them into your ear and mouth, builds that foundation for understanding speed.
It really opens your ears.
Yeah.
The main takeaway here is stop listening for the dictionary words in isolation. Start listening for these predictable mergers.
That's the core idea.
Oh, okay, we've got the building blocks, those common phrases. Now let's zoom in, right?
Yeah.
Get microscopic on the sounds themselves. We're talking standard American accent.
Right, like think news anchors, maybe Hollywood actors like Tom Cruise, not strong regional accents like New York or Deep Southern, or even Californians sometimes. This is the sort of neutral baseline.
And you mentioned 8 secrets, focused on T.
We've got 8 key things, 4 foundational tips, and then 4, let's say, more advanced secrets. And yeah, the letter T gets a lot of attention because Americans are pretty creative with it.
Okay, foundational first. What's number 1? Probably the most famous one.
Has to be the flat T, where a T between 2 vowel sounds changes to sound like a soft D.
Right. This is like American Accent 101.
Absolutely essential. It's about the physical movement. Instead of a sharp T sound where the tongue hits hard behind the teeth, it just quickly taps or flaps against that spot. The sound that comes out is much softer, much closer to a light D.
And it's everywhere. Like city isn't CT, it's CD.
Exactly. Or exciting becomes exciting, sweater becomes sweeter.
And you said it happens between words, too.
Oh, absolutely. That's crucial for connected speech. Take that always. The T in that comes before the vowel sound in always.
That always.
Pretty much. That always. Hearing that quick D sound tells you that 2 words have linked up.
Which brings us back to that great anecdote from the source material. The British friend imitating an American accent.
Yes. Just saying, water bottle.
Why is that so perfect?
Because it nails 2 of these foundational rules in one go. Water bottle. You get the flap T twice. Water bottle. If you can say water bottle like an American, you basically got the flap T down.
Okay, water bottle. Got it. What's foundational sound number 2?
The colored R. This happens when R is followed by a consonant, like in first word heard.
The American R. It's strong, right? Almost like a growl.
It is. It's powerful. And when a vowel comes before that R, the R basically takes over. It colors the vowel sound, makes the vowel sound like the R itself.
So the vowels in first, word, heard, learned, they all have that R quality baked into them.
Completely. In some other dialects, those vowels might sound pure, different from each other. In American English, they're dominated by the R.
The source had this funny practice tip, exaggerating it, like an angry dog.
Yeah, gross. It sounds silly, but there's a reason. The American R uses muscles at the back of your tongue that you might not use much in your native language.
So it's like weightlifting for your tongue.
Kind of. Exaggerating helps you find and strengthen those muscles. Then, when you speak normally, you can make the sound powerfully, but more naturally because the muscles are ready.
Okay, a vocal warm-up. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Foundational tip number 3, also in water bottle.
Yep. The strong ER ending.
So the R at the end of words needs to be really clear and strong.
Absolutely. If you drop the R or make it weak, like in some British or other accents, it won't sound standard American. Think let ER. Remember ER. What ER flow ERs.
You need that robust R sound at the end.
Yeah.
What ER.
Okay. It's the second key feature in water bottle. What ER bottle.
Flap T and strong final R. Okay. And the last foundational tip, something about agar endings.
Right. Pronouncing ARY endings fully. This is a good contrast with British English.
How so?
In American English, we say the whole airy sound, like library, secret airy, millet airy. You hear the A, the R, the Y.
And British English.
Often cuts that A sound. So military might sound more like military, secretary, like secretary.
Okay. So for American English, make sure you pronounce that full ARY, library.
Exactly. Those are the 4 foundational ones. Flap T, colored R, strong ER, and full ARY.
Okay, foundations laid. Now for the advanced stuff. The real secrets. Mostly about T, you said.
Yeah, now we get into how Americans often don't pronounce the T or stop it in unusual ways. Secret number 5 is the stopped T, usually at the end of a word.
Stopped T.
Yeah.
So you don't release the sound.
Exactly. Think about a normal T, like in top, there's a little puff of air released. Top.
Right.
For the stopped T, your tongue goes up to the roof of your mouth, to the spot where you'd make the T, but you just hold it there. You stop the airflow, but you don't release that puff of air. The T is formed, but not sounded.
So if I say the word right, I get my tongue ready for the T, but I just...
Right.
T.
Perfect. You feel the stop, but you don't hear the tut. Same forethought. Wouldn't, plant, bought, meat. The sound just cuts off abruptly.
Mean T. Okay. That takes practice.
It does. And the source pointed out a neat exception, outside, even though the T is technically in the middle.
It's a compound word. Out plus side.
Right. So that T acts like an ending T.
Yeah.
It gets stopped. Outside, not out. But the stop happens right before the S.
Outside. Wow. Okay. That's subtle but important. What's secret number 6? More T manipulation.
Even more, this is the glottal T. This one moves the stop from your tongue all the way back into your throat at the glottis.
Glottis. That's where my vocal cords are.
Exactly. You actually stop the airflow way back there. Think about the sound you make when you say uh-oh. That little catch or stop in the middle between and o.
Stop. Oh.
Yeah, that's a glottal stop. Now, Americans often put that glottal stop where a T sound should be, especially in the middle of words.
Whoa. Okay, so if I can say uh-oh, I can make the glottal stop. Where does it replace T?
Two main places. First, type A is when a T comes after an N, like N plus T. In fast speech, the T often just disappears completely, replaced by that glottal stop or sometimes nothing at all.
Just gone. Examples.
Think sentence. Often sounds like sentence. International becomes international. Winter sounds in winter. Wait, that's NN, not NT. Let's use internet. Internet becomes internet. The T vanishes.
Wait, internet sounds like internet. How do you know if someone means the internet or like an actual net that's on the inside of something, an internet?
That's a fantastic question. It really highlights how much we rely on context.
So just the situation tells you?
Almost always. Stress helps too. The internet as the proper noun usually gets a certain stress pattern. An internet might be said more deliberately. But honestly, in casual chat, 99% of the time, internet means the World Wide Web. You just assume based on context.
Okay, so context is king when sounds disappear. What's type B of the glottal T?
Type B is when the glottal stop replaces a T sound in the middle or end of a word, often after a vowel. Think of really common words like but, or got, or eat.
So instead of but T with released air, it's boo stop, using that throat stop.
Precisely. But who, or important. That middle T is often a glottal stop. Important.
Important. Okay. The source mentioned this was sometimes called a lazy habit, maybe from Scotland. Why did that stick so hard in American English?
Well, the glottal stop was definitely a feature in some working-class British accents, particularly Scottish and Cockney. As people migrated, they brought it with them. And language tends to evolve towards efficiency, right?
Nice effort.
Exactly. Making that stop way back in your throat actually takes less physical effort than coordinating your tongue for a full release T sound, especially in the middle of fast speech. So this lazy habit was just faster and easier. And over centuries, it became totally standard in rapid American speech.
Fascinating. Efficiency wins. Are we done with T now, please?
Almost. One more subtle point related to contractions. Secret number 7. Relaxed contractions with will.
Like he'll, they'll.
Yeah, when you say them very clearly, you hear the pronoun, then a distinct L sound. He, LS, they, L, we, L.
Okay.
But in relaxed, fast speech, that transition smooths out. It becomes more of a dark ol or ol sound, and the pronoun vowel often gets reduced too.
So he'll isn't he-el, it's more like hull.
Exactly. Hull, and they'll becomes thul. Wheel becomes wool.
Hull, full, wool.
Listen, hull go if you'll go and thul go if we'll go. See how the vowels shorten and blend into that dark L sound?
Yeah, it's much smoother, less choppy. Hull go. Okay, last secret, number 8.
Last one, linking S plus a vowel, and how the S sound often changes.
Changes how?
When an S at the end of a word links to a vowel starting the next word, in fast speech, that S often becomes voiced. It sounds like a Z.
S becomes Z. Why?
Voicing. To make the vowel sound, your vocal cords are vibrating. It's easier for your mouth to just keep that vibration going through the S, turning it into its voiced counterpart, Z.
Okay, examples.
The most common one, how's it going? The S in house links to the I in it.
How's it going?
Perfect, how's it going? Or possessives. Cars in the sun. Sounds like cars in the sun.
Cars in. Okay.
Think of he's in the office becomes he's in the office, she goes in the theater, she goes in the theater.
3M goes in.
Right,
like
and the
an
source had that
American.
great, tricky
Piece
example.
of
Don't go to the
cake.
cliffs, it's too dangerous.
Break
Quickly, the
the
S in cliffs links to the I in it.
Cliffs it becomes. Cliffs it.
Exactly. Cliffs it's too dangerous. And if you're listening for cliffs, then you'll miss cliffs it completely. That voicing link is key for speed.
Wow. Okay, those 8 secrets. Flap T, colored R, strong ER, full ARY, stop T, glottal T, relax will contractions, and S to Z linking. That's like the blueprint for the American sound.
It really is. It moves you from just mimicking to understanding the actual rules your mouth needs to follow.
Yeah.
All right, we've done the sounds, the mechanics, but fluency isn't just about making the right noises, right? It's about fitting in culturally.
Yeah, sounding natural isn't just pronunciation, it's using the right phrases too.
Exactly. So this section is about cultural fluency. We've got 4 absolutely essential American idioms. Using these, or at least understanding them instantly, makes a huge difference. You won't sound awkward or foreign.
Okay, 4 phrases for instant understanding. Let's hear them. What's the first one?
A classic for changing plans. Take a rain check.
Ah, take a rain check. Means postpone, right? Delay something.
Precisely. It's a polite way to decline an invitation now, but suggest doing it later. The source had a good example. Someone canceling dinner.
Hey, I gotta take a rain check on dinner because my baby's sick. Maybe next week.
Perfect context. And the origin story is great for remembering it.
It came from actual rain, right? At outdoor events.
Yep, baseball games mostly. If the game got rained out, they wouldn't give you a refund. They'd give you a rain check, a ticket for a future game.
So you're literally checking because of rain. That makes it stick.
And it carries that feeling of, I still want to do this, just not right now. It softens the refusal. Very useful.
Okay, idiom number 2.
Shoot the breeze.
Shoot the breeze. Sounds very casual. What does it mean?
It means just chatting casually, talking about nothing important, just catching up on everyday stuff. Light, easy conversation.
Like no specific agenda?
Exactly. The example was meeting an old friend. What are you going to do? Probably just grab a beer, shoot the breeze for a while.
So just hanging out and talking. The memory aid was like, air the breeze coming out of your mouth. Just talk.
Yeah, light as air. You'd use it for calling your parents just to chat or talking to a neighbor you bump into. It's purely social.
Right. You wouldn't say, let's shoot the breeze about the quarterly budget.
Definitely not. It implies the opposite of serious discussion. Okay, number 3 is fascinating. It comes from the U.S. legal system.
Oh, really? Which one?
Plead the fifth.
Ah, plead the fifth, meaning refuse to answer a question.
Right. It comes directly from the Fifth Amendment to the U.S. Constitution. The right to remain silent, the right against self-incrimination. You can't be forced to testify against yourself in court.
Okay, so legally you can plead the fifth. How is it used every day? That's the key part, isn't it?
That's the crucial cultural part. When you use I plead the fifth in a casual social situation, say, someone asks if you ate the last cookie.
And you say, I plead the fifth.
You are basically admitting guilt. You're saying, I refuse to answer, but everyone understands that the unspoken answer is yes.
Huh. So it's a humorous way to confess without actually confessing.
Exactly. It implies you did it, but you're using the legal phrase playfully. Like if friends are teasing you, did you really ask her out? And you say, I plead the fifth. Everyone laughs because they know the answer is yes.
It's a brilliant cultural shortcut for implied guilt with humor. Love that one. Okay, last idiom, number 4.
Give props to someone.
Give props, like stage props.
No. It's short for proper respect. To give props means to give someone acknowledgement or respect, especially for their effort or for trying something difficult, even if they didn't succeed.
Oh, okay. Respect for the effort, not just the result.
Exactly. That's very American, valuing the attempt. The example was a friend applying to Harvard but not getting in.
And the other friend says, hey, I give you props just for trying. That application is crazy hard.
Perfect. It acknowledges the difficulty and the courage to try. It validates the effort.
And you can use it for yourself too.
Absolutely. Like if you're learning English and you had a conversation, even if it was tough.
You could say, okay, that was hard, but I give myself props for putting myself out there and trying.
Precisely. It's a way to acknowledge your own effort and encourage yourself.
Take a rain check, shoot the breeze, plead the fifth, give props. 4 great phrases for blending in.
They really help bridge that gap between just knowing the language and actually sounding natural in the culture.
Hashtag outro.
Wow, okay. That was a real deep dive. We've gone from the big picture of connected speech through those 17 essential linked phrases, the wannas, gottas, don'tchas.
Yeah, the building blocks.
All the way down to the tiny mechanics of the standard American accent. Those 8 secrets, especially all those ways the T sound changes, the flap T, the stop T, the glottal T.
And then finishing up with those cultural fluency keys, the idioms like plead the fifth, give props. It's about phonetics and culture together.
So for everyone listening, the next step is really imitation, right? Shadowing.
Absolutely. Listen for these things now. Try to consciously notice the wajas and the haftas. Practice saying the water bottle phrase. Feel that stop T at the end of plant. Train your ear in your mouth.
And we wanted to leave you with one final thought, something to really chew on that kind of pulls it all together. Let's go back to that word we highlighted, important.
Right. Think about how an American actually says important. Naturally, quickly. You said it uses 2 of those advanced T secrets at the same time.
It does. The first T in the middle, important tent, that's often that glottal T, that stop in the throat. Pico ar sa.
And the second T, the one at the very end, important T, that's the stop T. The tongue goes up, stops the air, but doesn't release. Important.
So it's not important with two clear T puffs. It's more like importante.
Exactly. Importante. That one word shows how much those T rules shape the sound.
So here's the challenge for you, the listener. Using those two specific T sounds, the glottal stop in the middle, the stop T at the end, think about something that is genuinely essential in your life right now.
And say it. Tell yourself, tell someone, maybe just whisper it, but use that pronunciation. This is really importante to me.
Practice it right now. Make it real, what's truly important.
Use the sounds, feel the connections, keep exploring these nuances. Thanks so much for joining us on this deep dive.